Did you hear about this story? An 8-year-old boy who police say confessed to planning, then killing his father and another man. This little boy is in court today. The gruesome crime shocking the small community of St. John's, which is northeast of Phoenix, and leaving all of us to wonder if a third grader could commit such a crime and how the courts will handle it. Randy Zellen is a former prosecutor, and Lawton Cummings, a George Washington University law professor. Good to see both of you gentlemen. Oh, sorry.
Good morning.
You're not.
That's
I'm a gentleman.
And there's
all right.
And there she is.
The name is ambiguous.
And so since I made such a major faux pas, let me start with you. Do you agree with the fact that the judge would even consider charging this 8-year-old with an adult crime?
No way. I would argue that an 8-year-old could never form the requisite legal criminal intent that would be necessary to try him as an adult. A child simply cannot understand the consequences and permanency of his actions at this age.
Randy, I know that you disagree with that.
I do. The juvenile system was designed to protect children who steal magazines, not children who empty magazines. To suggest that as a blanket proposition that a child is not capable of understanding what the child has done is wrong, understanding the consequences of those actions, it's irresponsible. The bottom line is due process will determine whether or not the child understood. And I got to tell you something. The fact that the evidence seems to indicate that one person was shot at the door, another person was shot upstairs. You're talking about planning, deliberation, and execution. This child should be prosecuted as an adult.
But Lawton, here's the situation. We're talking about an 8-year-old child. 8 years old, going to prison, what, for the rest of his life?
Right, and then think about what that prison situation would look like. A child who is sentenced to prison has to be housed on the prison grounds. However, that state must construct a whole separate structure for that child because it's unconscionable to put the child in the general population, and the segregated population is even worse because that's where all of the sex offenders go. So the child is put in virtual isolation, no chance for rehabilitation, which is another reason why we have the criminal justice system treat juveniles differently, because we want them to be rehabilitated. So the child would not be educated, rehabilitated, would lead a life of virtual isolation, and would eventually get out and be a hardened, violent criminal.
Randy, let me ask you this. Do you care at all what the motive is? I mean, does it bother you? Because right now police, they say they don't know what it is, or they're at least not releasing it. Does that matter to you at all in how you evaluate this case?
While motive is never, ever an element of the crime, of course it becomes important. First of all, motive could establish a defense. Motive could establish some mitigating factor. I'm not necessarily advocating to take the key and toss it away. All I'm suggesting is to determine at this early phase of the proceeding that merely by virtue of the child's age that the child should not be prosecuted as an adult is just off. Let's go through all of the due process safeguards, but at the end of the day, if the child understood it, understood what the child was doing, and executed that plan, you bet that child should be prosecuted as an adult.
I know, Lawton, I don't know, as a mom of 2 small children who are not that far away from 8, this story absolutely gets to the heart of the matter, because how could any 8-year-old really understand all the ramifications of firing off a gun?
That's right. You said it. I don't believe an 8-year-old could. And I'll tell you, I think this case is potentially going to be thrown out anyway because the police questioned this child without a parent or without a lawyer present. All of the prosecutor's evidence is based on this supposed confession. The child has no history of violence. It's possible this isn't even going to make it to court.
Well, it'll be a fascinating case to watch, and today the judge will make that decision. Randy Zellens. Lawton, okay, now just for the record, you can sign off by calling me Mr. Carlson.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Carlson.
I feel a little better now. My apologies. I'm very sorry for the mistake.
No problem.
Great to see both of you.
Thank you.
You too.